Mike Steph, this marks a new beginning. Thanks for supporting a total reinvention. The soul is still here, but the vibe's a little different. Unpredictable, hot the kids and the women. Sports of all sorts, music mixed for living. Rep New York City, but ain't the politician. Always bring the heat, Steph bacon in the kitchen. Big shout to y'all, I appreciate the listen. Donnie put the rest, but I'm still in the best. In the word of what I do, all y'all know the rest. I live it, I breathe it, I'm the whole definition. The pinnacle, the ultimate, I'm on a new mission. The salty thoughts of Mike Steph, featuring the one and only Mike Steph, the best in the world at what he does. Tap in. I don't want anybody to get the wrong idea about me. I have nothing to hide. I do this shit for free. Don't matter how many views that I get. Every week you're gonna get the same old shit. The salty thoughts of Mike Steph. Ha ha! The salty thoughts of Mike Steph. Ha ha! What up, people? Welcome to another edition of the Salty Thoughts of Mike Steph podcast, featuring a very ornery Mike Steph, best in the world at what he does. Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am. Yes, people. The original kisser of Stephens. Yes, that would be my moniker this week. On this platform or on any other platform that I choose to devote my precious time to actually show this simply ravishing face, dare I say, debonair, dashing face on any screen that I choose to do this week. Yes. Hopefully everybody is doing well. I'm doing okay. Besides the fact that, as I said at the beginning, I'm in a very ornery mood. I'm such an ornery mood just to try to give myself a little of a head up or a little bit of a spark. I looked through my various hat collection and I'm wondering, what kind of hat can I wear this week? Should I be just nondescript? Should I just stay with the plain old black? No. I wanted some color. More color than this picture. More color than Stitch. More color than that inconspicuous postcard in the background. More color than my personality. Plus, I wanted to actually have the feeling of a winner on this dome. So, I looked through my various collection, and one by one, I came up with loser after loser, because my New York Mets, my New York Metropolitans, the season hasn't even started yet. Spring season hasn't even started yet, and yet I could already feel or smell the stench coming out of Port St. Lucie. Then I looked over my myriad of New York Jets paraphernalia, and I'm like, why the fuck would I put them on? Yeah, I'm starting early this week. Why the would I put them on this noggin? Shit, especially when we're talking about playoff time. Then I was like, oh, there was something that's caught a gleam in my eye. The sparkling number 7 on the side of the dome. 7 as in 7 championships. The sparkle being gold. It was the Golden State Warriors. But if anybody is up to date with the NBA, everybody knows that those mother effers have a losing record. Those mother effers are in disarray. Those mother effers will not be on this dome. So I said, you know what? Let me go back. And tell you the truth, I didn't have to go back so far. I just had to go back to yesterday in the wild card game. This G isn't for greatness. This G isn't for godly. This G is actually for Green Bay. Green Bay Packers won today. Well, won yesterday. And I'll talk about that in my Kiss of Steph segment, which actually got me in this ornery mood, amongst other things. And I said, you know what? Being the fact that the only thing that I can put on my noggin that'll give me some semblance of feeling like a winner, that's why I have this on my noggin. I'm going to lay things out. But before I lay things out, let me thank each and every one of y'all for making this here the podcast y'all choose to view and the podcast y'all choose to listen to. But more importantly, I'd like to thank those who checked out last week's episode, my salty hidden gems, or as I affectionately like to call it, Hidden Gem Football, the salty edition. The great Mike Steph was here. The Mojo King was on vacation. This week, we'll be back in our regularly scheduled time, our regularly scheduled location. And before I get too much on a tangent, because I'm letting y'all know, there ain't no trusty ass notes this week. Everything is going off the noggin. Everything is coming from the heart. Everything is coming from this original style. But before I get on a tangent, I would like to be serious for a minute, if I can be serious for a minute. I like to be serious and thank those at the 19 Media Group. Thank my trusty partner, the Mojo King, for giving me the opportunity, giving me the pleasure of hosting one of the flagship entities on this here platform. And hopefully, I listen. All humility is out the window this week. I'm letting y'all know that now. I did a damn good job. Right, babe? Yep, see, you heard her. Shit, dare I say I did not even a damn good job. I did a great job. Didn't I, babe? You heard her. So we're going to keep things rolling and get back in the swing of things this week. So expect the newest episode of Hidden Gems Football dropping sometime Thursday afternoon, Thursday evening, Thursday night on the YouTube page, the YouTube channel of the 19 Media Group. So I'm going to let y'all know exactly what's going down this week on this here platform. So to Mike Steph. My beautiful grandchildren decided to stop by this weekend. It was a pleasant surprise because it was in the plans. Then it got canceled and then it got rescheduled. So we had the pleasure of being with our grandchildren this weekend. And as parents, matter of fact, not even parents, but as adults of children, of nieces, nephews, little cousins, what have you. And I wish they stop all this flashing, because it's kind of giving up the fact that I got the TV on in the background, but so be it. I'm quite sure for the last couple of years, y'all have noticed a phenomenon called Roblox. Yeah. Roblox. And a couple of things happen in my presence that, being the fact that my oldest grandson, who will be 8 later on this week, can't say. I'm going to say it. Not even so for him, for me, because the shit that I heard, or should I say, just the online communication that I witnessed really pissed me off. So we're going to talk about that. Another thing, another topic. My son, that y'all affectionately known as Chef Mix, but I still call Mikey because like that's my son. He's still home for the holidays. Well, even though the holidays passed, but his holiday just passed yesterday. Birthday. Turned the tender old age. The tender young age of 26 years old. But neither here nor there. Me, him, and my lovely daughter Mia started watching this Netflix show at after the Squid Games called the Squid Games The Challenge. 10 episodes, game show, and it's pretty much like a replication of the Squid Games series. So there was a couple things that I saw. I'm about 20 minutes from the end. I'll let y'all know exactly why I'm 20 minutes from the end and I haven't just completed that 20 minutes. When I get to that, I'm going to talk about that. And then last but not least, there will not be Mike Steph must have bumped his mother effing head segment this week. No, 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 no. Instead, I will rename such segment. Well, should I say there will be a segment recapping just some of the games of the NFL wildcard action that took place over the weekend. We only got one, as of this recording, there's only one more game left. But guess what? I don't give a fuck about that game because my parlay is in flames. So that segment will be entitled "Doug is Steph," because when I explain to you exactly how I snatched money out of the jaws of victory, you'll understand why. When I coined the phrase "Doug is Steph," I wasn't just emulating a Jadakiss song. It's a way of life, unfortunately. So that is what is on deck this week. Should I get this shit going? Matter of fact, even though it's like 12 minutes, 13 minutes in, and this shit really should have been a precursor at the very beginning of this podcast. Look, I'm gonna give y'all out right now. After I say this, y'all have the choice to say, you know what, Mike, I'll catch you next week, or maybe this is a little bit too spicy for even y'all. There will be content on this episode that might be deemed a little bit too raunchy for sensitive ears, too outlandish for the prude, too politically incorrect for those who believe in such things. Look, I gave y'all the nice version of me last week. I already told y'all I'm not really in a great mood, and being the fact that I told you at the very beginning, I don't want anybody to get the wrong idea about me. I have nothing to hide. I do this shit for free. And being the fact I do this shit for free, this is my venting mechanism. So I'm going to be venting all over this episode. I'm going to actually put the salt back in the Salty Thoughts and Mike Steph podcast this week. Maybe a one night only event, maybe not. But I say all that to say parental advisory is strongly suggested. But will be completely fucking ignored. How's that for PG? With all that being said, let's get this show on the road. Right, Stitch? Y'all thought Stitch was going to be a one-time only event? Nah. I think Stitch here for the long haul. Because it's the only one I could depend on. Without further ado, good night. and goodbye. Bang! It's Steph. On this screen for my YouTube viewers, forgive me, audio listeners. On the screen right now for my YouTube video is the face of none other than Dallas Cowboy owner Jerry Jones. Having a look of bewilderment, having a look of my team just crapped the bed again in the playoffs, and I have all these reporters around me wanting the quote of the day, the quote of the weekend, perhaps the quote of this young year. Dak Prescott. Dak Prescott. Where should I even begin with this mother effer? This team, this game in particular, is one of the reasons, if not, dare I say, the reason why yours truly is in an effed up mood that I'm in. I swear. I am always down for Cowboy slander. Y'all know me. I love me some Cowboy slander. Even more so, that's the reason why I got this Green Bay Packers hat on. Because the Green Bay Packers not only beat the Dallas Cowboys this last week, well, this past Sunday, not only did they beat the Cowboys, no, not only did they eliminate the Cowboys, not only did they cover the spread or go against the spread, the Cowboys, shit, they damn near got that over under by themselves. They took the Dallas Cowboys to the woodshed by the score of 48-32. And guess what? It wasn't even that close. Where should I begin? Where should I begin? This game pissed me off twofold. One, because it put my parlay in the flames. A parlay that was one of the cardinal rules that you shouldn't do when you're doing bets, and that's doubling down. That's trying to recoup. That's trying to make up for a loss. I'm going to be very blunt. At the very beginning of this weekend, I said, you know what? I am going to put a 6-leg parlay for all the games for wild card playoff weekend. And I'm going to start with pretty much what I said on Hitting Just Football last week. Houston for the victory over Cleveland, which I was proven correct because they dog walked their ass. I think what was the score? Let me look. 45-14 in another game that wasn't really that close. Then the nightcap that Saturday was the Chiefs or the Dolphins. So I'm looking at this game, looking at these two games. I'm like, yo, let me find out. I'm going to be 2 for 2 on Saturday. Because when I did the parlay, I cleverly put, so I thought Houston to cover and the Chiefs for the victory, because I was not going to put any type of faith in the fraudulent team from South Beach, aka Miami. So I'm looking at this game, and The ending score ended up being 26-7. I'm like, okay, 2 for 2. Let me look to see if there's a possibility of me cashing out early. And much to my dismay, much to my horror, I see this little red dot. Is that a red dot on your head? I think there's a red dot on your head too. Oh shit! Boom, boom. Ready to die. Instantly. Anyway, I look at this red dot and I'm like, why is there a red dot? I got these 2 games correct. Or maybe, just maybe, my blind ass was putting in these picks without my glasses. I mistakenly pressed Cleveland for the money line, which is no way in hell I would have had Cleveland for the money line. So I must have pushed Cleveland instead of Houston. So therefore, it didn't matter what was going to happen for the rest of the weekend. My big parlay was null and void, was done. So that pissed me off. But I said, you know what? New day, new horizons. Woke up Sunday morning. I said, you know what? I'm going to just chop it down, do it day by day. So I'm going to have a little single game parlay with the Dallas Cowboys and the Packers. And I'm going to do the same with the Rams and the Lions. Except for one small exception. I guess I was gun shy from the night before. Why? I don't know, because in my head I was correct. On paper I was wrong. So I picked Dallas. Even though my original line was spreads, meaning Green Bay +7. So why would I pick Dallas for the money line? Because I'm an idiot. So when I turned on the game was 7-0. I'm like, okay, not great, but okay. Then it quickly turned into 14-0. Then it quickly turned into 21-0. And then a pick six effectively made that game over. 27-0. Ended up being 27-7 at halftime. Now, on the broadcast, they're saying, well, it's been a year to the day of last year's wild card matchup between the Los Angeles Chargers and the Jacksonville Jaguars, in the game that Jacksonville came back from the same deficit, 27-7. I'm like, yeah, but there's a big difference. Real big difference. Talk about Dallas here. Talk about Dak. Talking about Cowboy Nation. I don't know. As much as I always say that Joe Namath must have sold his soul to the devil, and that's why the New York Jets have so much ill will, so much ill fortune. Jerry must have did the same, because I swear I don't understand why they don't get the slander that a lot of other teams get. But we're not talking about that. Maybe I'll mention that on this week's edition of HGF. The thing is, I'm looking at Green Bay, and I'm looking at Jordan Love, and dare I say, I'm looking at a quarterback that I'm like, my Jets got hoodwinked. My Jets got bamboozled. My Jets got led astray. There was a reason that the Green Bay Packers were so willing to let Aaron Rodgers go. They knew what they had in Jordan Love, and they also knew what they had in Aaron Rodgers, both on the field and off. And I'm only going to talk about on the field this episode. Maybe next week depending on how the sports landscape is, I have a lot of things to get off my chest with society at large, with the PC culture, with this upcoming election, with politics in New York City. Various things are happening, and I chose, you know what? I'm going to put that on the back burner for next week. So that's a little tease. But Green Bay knew what they had, and the throws that Jordan loved, off platform, off the back foot, flicking the wrist, pure bombs, pure pinpoint accuracy. I'm like, wow. You mean to tell me they're going to have damn near 30 years of exquisite quarterback play in Lambeau? Congratulations to Mr. Winchester of gimmick infringement. Big time Green Bay Packers fan. Big time. Go blue. Yeah. Look, I'm a Michigan fan myself. So he had a big week. But I never in my wildest dreams thought that Green Bay, it wasn't the fact that Green Bay wasn't going to win. I didn't think 48-32 was going to be a score. And that brings us to this right here. This guy, Dak. Like, there was midway through the second quarter, he was like 2 for 8 for 16 yards. Don't let the line fool you. He was 41 of 60 for 403 yards, 3 touchdowns, 2 interceptions, but a lot of that, matter of fact, the majority of that was garbage time. I knew from the beginning of that game, the way he was throwing, he was going to be off. Everything was high. Everything was inaccurate. Him and CD were not on the right page. And it almost got, there was a nice stretch, I believe, toward the end of the second, toward the end of the second quarter, when they was actually moving the ball. It was almost like a concerted effort because him and CD Lamb was not on the right page, was not on the same page. It was almost a concerted effort of, yo, it's not you. No, it's not me. It's you. Guess what? I'm connecting with Ferguson. I'm connected with Cooks. I'm connecting with Gallup. I'm connected with Pollard. Every time I try to throw it to you, it's damn near intercepted. But one of these tweets last night really caught my attention, and that was from Richard Sherman. I don't have it verbatim, but I'm going to paraphrase it. He said, listen, all these triple slants with CD Lamb on the inside might have worked in the regular season, but in the playoffs, in the postseason, teams have scouted that. And there was times me and my son are looking at these plays, and we're like, Dak is, you could tell when Dak was going specifically for CD Lamb because he felt like, look, I gotta get him off. And he was staring him down. And guess what? When he was staring him down, the Packers were staring that ball down. Hence the 2 interceptions, hence the pick 6 that effectively ended that game. But for all the faults of Dak Prescott, for all the faults of CeeDee Lamb, for all the faults of the offense, you know who cost them the game? There's two. There's 2 entities that cost them the game. One on the field, one off the field. On the field, I would say The defense, because the defense got carved up like a hot knife through butter. They couldn't stop the run. They couldn't stop the pass. They couldn't get to Jordan Love. All the chirping of Micah Parsons throughout the year. Matter of fact, throughout the last 2 years, and he's come up small each of the last 2 years. So Micah Parsons needs to shut the fuck up. Straight like that. Just ball. Just play ball. That's all Jerry wants you to do. That's all Cowboy Nation wants you to do. It's just play ball. This podcast that he has, every time he has never met a microphone that he doesn't want to put his mouth to, and no pause on that either, because I know exactly what the fuck time it is with him. He's always yapping. It's one thing for Cowboys faithful, Cowboys Nation to yap. It's one thing to be confident in your abilities, confident in your team. But when shit gets down to the nitty gritty and you're on that field and y'all supposed to be the dominant defense, especially at home at Jerry's World, and y'all get bludgeoned, y'all give up a 48 spot at home in the playoffs. I don't want to hear shit. Next season, only thing I want to hear Micah Parsons say, I don't want to hear, matter of fact, I want him to hear, I want him to say anything. I want his actions to do the talking for him. Because that was an embarrassing display by the Dallas Cowboys defense. Dan Quinn, I swear, I think some teams should have some second thoughts if anybody thought that he was going to be the next head coach in waiting. And speaking of head coaches, that brings me to this mother effer right here. Now, I'm going to let y'all know, I have no skin in the game. I could care less about Dallas. But he set the tone off this week, and I believe some would say your team should not be so emotionally fragile to let words get in the way. Guess what? We're talking about the Cowboys here. Once Bill Belichick parted ways with the New England Patriots, the whispers got louder. Where's Bill gonna go? Is Bill headed to Big D? Where's Bill gonna go? It didn't help that immediately after the regular season finale, Jerry Jones pretty much put Mike McCarthy on notice and said, listen, our results in the postseason will determine where I go next. I'm paraphrasing it here, but that's exactly what he said. Now, he tried to walk that back and say he was totally comfortable with Mike McCarthy, and Mike McCarthy done a great job. Back-to-back 12-5 seasons withstanding. But they've gotten eliminated in the first round of the playoffs the last 3 years. First, at home. Matter of fact, I'm lying. 2 of the last 3 years. 3 years ago, at home against Jimmy G, which is a slap at the Cowboys defense. Last year, they beat up a washed-up Tom Brady and a Tampa Bay Buccaneers team that, to tell you the truth, didn't belong in the playoffs, but a win is a win. Got to the second round, went to San Francisco, lost. Dak played horrible. Couldn't really blame the defense on that one. And then this year, a total no-show performance. So, yes, Mike McCarthy should be held under the microscope. But, Jerry Jones didn't do his team any favors by ratcheting up the pressure of everybody knowing, listen, we don't show improve, we're probably going to have to deal with another coaching change. We don't show improve. We got to deal with old man up there getting in his feelings and wanting to tinker. If we don't show improve, we got to hear this old bastard's mouth for the whole off season. Listen, Jerry Jones would much rather be doing this, and that's having his hands conspicuously close to some tatas than doing this, talking to all these scribes, talking to all these reporters, talking about another Cowboy failure. Now, who might be in the running? Because, yeah, there's no way in hell that Mike McCarthy's coming back. I'm sorry. Through no fault of his own to me, I think he was set up. He was set up for, I won't say failure, but he wasn't set up for success. Jerry Jones's look in the suite after that pick six that put them down 27-0 said all I needed to see. All I needed to know. Mike McCarthy, for that second half, was a dead man walking. So would it be Bill Belichick? Will Bill Belichick even want this job? Is that a good mix? People would say, well, Bill Parcells, you know, he worked for Jerry. Bill Parcells and Bill Belichick are two totally different personalities, at least outwardly. And I'm quite sure inwardly too. That's why he was so desperate. He was so desperate to get from underneath or out of Bill Parcells' large shadow. Do you really think he wants to really inhabit that shadow again? He did so in New England, but I think that was more along the lines of I got to escape the shadow somewhere, so I'd rather escape the shadow from New York and deal with New England. I'll be king, the castle up there. In New York, I'll always be 2 years from having one foot out the door. The dark horse, if rumors are to be believed, and actually someone that I would not, well, actually, I would think would actually be probably a good fit, at least for the long haul, Mike Vrabel, former head coach of the Tennessee Titans. Mike Vrabel in Big D has the personality that would galvanize that fan base, I believe, has the cachet of actually having, yes, he doesn't have any Super Bowl wins, Super Bowl victories, Super Bowl appearances on his resume, but what he did in Tennessee with albeit no spotlight, but albeit not as talented as a roster that he might be inheriting in Dallas. I could see that happening. And I think he has enough balls to tell Jerry, like, look, you want me to handle this? Let me handle this. Trust me, I'll get the job done. If I don't, do what you got to do. I can give two fucks. I believe Mike Vrabel will probably be a better fit for Dallas than Bill Belichick. Now, the last part of this, the kiss of Steph. Like I said, I messed up my parlays because I'm blind as a bat without these glasses. Even this week, matter of fact, today, kind of the reason why I started off this podcast nice and hot. The Pittsburgh Steelers went into Buffalo and they lost, expectedly, they lost to the Buffalo Bills 31-17 in the wild card matchup. A wild card matchup that was moved from Sunday afternoon to late Monday afternoon due to the weather in Buffalo. rain, snowstorm, blizzard conditions. I don't know how much snow they got up there, but the lake effect snow, pretty much, it wasn't so much for the playing of the game, it was the transportation to and from the game that the NFL was concerned about, and there was a state of emergency placed by Nurse Jackie, oh my bad, Governor Hochul of New York. So they had to move the game. Now, when the line first came out, it was 9.5 points. Then it went up to 10. I'm looking at the weather and I'm like, Buffalo's going to win, but due to the weather, I think Pittsburgh is going to hang nice and tight because neither team really going to be able to be explosive. When they moved that game from Sunday afternoon to Monday, I was like, But I still like, look, Coach Tomlin, he's not going to give up. This hasn't been improved offense. Buffalo does shoot themselves in the foot a lot of times. The spread went up to 10. I said, do I really believe that Buffalo is going to beat Pittsburgh by 10 points? I don't know. It's worth the shot. And my bet almost came to fruition until what? About 3 minutes left in the game. Let me look. My trusty ass notes. Yeah, man. My trusty ass notes. No. This is normally where I should pause it, but F that. With 10 minutes and 37 seconds remaining in the fourth quarter, Pittsburgh, who was once down 21-zip, pulled within 24-17 with the chance to keep it within 10 points, to at least hold them to a field goal. But guess what? The Pittsburgh D repeatedly shot themselves in the foot with penalty after penalty after penalty after penalty. And then an amazing play by Khalil Shakur of the Buffalo Bills, in which he was dead to rights by Mika Fitzpatrick, and he was able to shove that off and into the end zone. 31-17, 6 minutes, 37 seconds remaining. And I'm like, mother. All you had to do is hold them to a field goal. 27-17, guess what? Your boy wins. Didn't work like that. Didn't work like that at all. Now, there's been some scuttlebutt. There's that word again. That Mike Tomlin has been thinking about moving on himself. Maybe he's been feeling very unappreciated. 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 Darn, who sung that? Was it Cherish? Yeah. I think that's in my head. I think this is an Atlanta group back in the mid 2000s, 2006, 2007. My wife loved that group. I'm feeling unappreciated for you. Maybe Mike Tomlin is feeling the same way. Maybe Mike Tomlin's like, you know what, Pittsburgh? You know what, Steeler Nation? Y'all, I brought you a championship. I've kept y'all relevant for 17 long, glorious years. Maybe it's time for me to bid y'all adieu. Maybe it's time for me to chuck the deuces. Maybe it's time for me to pull down my trowel and tell y'all to kiss my black ass. And if I was Mike Tomlin, I would do so. I would do so. Because evidently they think they can do better. Or the Yintzes up there think they could do better, right? Well, guess what? You don't know what you got till it's gone. And when Mike Tomlin finally comes to the point of, you know what? Maybe Maybe my voice is being dull. Maybe I don't got time to deal with these uh very, very infantile skill set players, i.e., my wide receivers. Because I'm not gonna lie, as well as they played today, there was a couple plays that I could look back and say, maybe if you would have ran a little bit harder, maybe if you would have laid out, maybe if you would have, you know, gave a little bit more effort, the result might have been a little bit closer. Yeah, maybe that's just me regretting the fact that y'all couldn't even cover the spread. It's 11 minutes and 31 seconds in second quarter for the nightcap of Wild Card Weekend. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers are currently leading 13-3. 13-3. Do you know how pissed off I am? Because if Pittsburgh didn't hold up their end of the bargain, that score is null and void to me when it comes to dealing with my pockets. The kiss of Steph reared its ugly head again. But last but not least, and this has actually nothing to do with kiss of Steph. This is just me gloating. Didn't I tell y'all Didn't I tell y'all that Miami was the fraudulent team that they are? Didn't I tell y'all that Cam Newton is looking matter of fact, I'm telling y'all now, Cam Newton is looking in a much better light because he did say two quarterbacks this weekend. He called game managers and everybody from the Twitter trolls to Miss Kimberly A. Martin on First Take took him to task. Matter of fact, she say he was no better than the people that comment on Twitter from their mom's basement. And we're talking about a former MVP. We're talking about a former starting quarterback in the Super Bowl. We're talking about a former Heisman Trophy winner. But I digress. He said, Tua Tagovailoa and Dak Prescott are nothing more than game managers. But don't look at it. Don't take the negative connotation when it comes to that. It was the fact that Tua and Dak, when they're in the game, the coach, the team just doesn't want them to mess up the game. But they're not game changers. They cannot win a game. They cannot put a team on their back. Instead, as this picture expertly shows, Tua Tagovailoa is put on his side. You know what was one of the most embarrassing points of that game? The most embarrassing points of that game was the times that it was third and long, and repeatedly Tua would not throw the deep ball. Tua, a lot of times, was throwing either at the line of scrimmage, behind the line of scrimmage, or 5 yards down and hoping some rack yardage would get them the first down. Meanwhile, I think there was a discrepancy of Tua end up throwing for 39 times, and Patrick Mahomes threw 41 times. But there was a time that Patrick Mahomes had thrown twice as many passes as Tua Tagovailoa. Hence, the game manager title. Now, Miami has a big question in the offseason. Do they pick up his fifth-year option? Not only that, do they give him that record-breaking extension? Do they shortchange him? Do they try to play the middle and give him something in between that? They try to keep him in the fold but not break the bank, because you know how the quarterback game goes, next one up is the next one that brings the bake when it comes to these quote unquote franchise quarterbacks. But is he a franchise quarterback? Only time will tell. Only time will tell. But I know what time will tell for me this week. Maybe I should give this betting shit up. Maybe I should just swallow my pride and go back to the NBA and try to get some wins that way, because right now the kiss of Steph is in full effect, and your boy is not happy whatsoever. Listen, as I said at the very beginning of this episode, as an adult, if you have any children, if you have any little nieces, nephews, cousins, what have you, you're very familiar over the last couple of years of this game that's on your screen. Well, and for those who are listening to audio, I'm talking about Roblox. Roblox. This is a interactive game, online community, primarily which are popular with kids, let's say school age kids, preteens, maybe not even preteens, but little kids. It's a mobile game. They got 1,000,001 Roblox videos on YouTube that pretty much shows you the ins and outs. It's almost like the best way I could describe it. It's almost like anybody remember the Sims game? It's almost like Sims for kids. With these little blockhead mother effers. The reason why I'm bringing this up, and the reason why I entitled this Roblox Bullies, my grandson, my oldest grandson, for audio listeners, the one that says bye or bye at the end of my programs, at the end of my episodes, him. He'll be 8 this Friday. What is that? This Friday, right? Yeah. Right. Anyway, he came up this weekend. Him and his brother and his sister, but his sister didn't want to stay with us. Wanted to be mommy and daddy. Okay, but they came with us this weekend. They came to stay with us for a night this weekend. And both of them, they got their new iPads for Christmas, and they're doing the Roblox thing. And I guess they must have some type of new feature of whether like you can actually communicate voice. You can voice communicate on a microphone or whatever. So he doesn't wear headphones. He doesn't like wearing headphones with it. So he's playing on the couch, and I'm sitting adjacent to him, and I see like a little scowl gets on his face, and I'm hearing all these kids. Now I don't know if they're random kids. I don't know if they're distant. They're cousins or people that he knows personally. I don't know, schoolmates, whatever. But I could tell he's getting a little upset, and I had to let him know. I'm like, man, whatever happens online, like whatever, don't let anything game related, don't let anything that happens online get you upset, or don't allow anybody to know that these things are getting you upset. Now, look, I'm talking to a 7-year-old, so of course tensions are high, but still, I gotta bestow my wisdom that I know I didn't have a 7 years old, and thank goodness there wasn't mobile games back then, because I was a sore loser. Like, you know how many Atari controllers I broke because I used to fling those shits at the wall or fling them at the people I would play with. A lot of people didn't like playing with me because I was a sore loser. We'll get to that in a very few minutes. So I'm just trying to let him know, right? And I'm talking to his Uncle Mikey, and I'm like, you know what? Stuff like that really gets my blood boiling, because What I used to tell my brother Cool, um, there's gonna be a lot of tangents in this segment, so it is what it is. When my kids were younger, they would go on school trips, and I was a very active father at the schools. So a lot of times that they had trips, I know how I used to feel when my mother would have a chance to chaperone me at school when I was younger, and especially when you saw other people's parents chaperoning, you get that little extra. You just have a little extra freedom because look, my mother, my father, my brother, my uncle, whatever. Just get that extra freedom, especially if it's someplace you got to spend money. All right, your mother is only going to give you a certain amount because she don't want you to lose it. Now, if they with you, it's almost like at the strip club. But anyway, my thing was if I'm on a trip with my kid, yes, I know I'm helping. I'm supposed to be helping the faculty, but supposed to be helping the staff with the children. But I'm chaperoning my child, my son or my daughter. That's my first priority. Because at the end of the day, I don't know these little fucking kids. Some of them, they don't got no home training. And guess what? If their family really cared about them, guess what? They would be on this trip with them, right? Now, yeah, that might sound really effed up, but like I told you at the beginning, it's not going to be a PC episode. So I used to tell my brother, especially in daycare, I'll go over there, we're going to spend some time, we're going to get my child a little acclimated to the surroundings, especially if they just started. And all of a sudden, you see this little snot nosed bastard want to come to you and talk about, excuse me, I need to go to the bathroom. Go ask him. Go ask your teacher. Or if we're on a trip, okay, since I'm the only male chaperone, and case in point, went to see The Lion King years ago. I think my lovely daughter Mia, she was either in second grade or third grade. So we go to see The Lion King on Times Square. And we get to the theater, and we get into our seats. And I was tasked with the responsibility of dealing with the boys because I'm the man. Not a problem. So of course, they have to go to the bathroom. All right, I could take them to the bathroom, watch over them, whatever. Make sure they go in the stalls, whatever. Don't make sure nobody snatches them. Make sure in and out. That's not a problem. I give a little bass in my voice to kind of like get them a little bit more in tune with what we're doing, directions and stuff. No problem. But when we get to the play, guess what? I'm here to see this play with my daughter. So, sure enough, everybody's going, and they're going to talk about Mr. Steffens, Mr. Steffens. Yeah, you can sit over here with the boys. I'm like, no, the fuck I can't. Of course, I didn't say fuck, but y'all get the gist. No, my daughter's sitting up there. I'm sitting with my daughter. Oh, but Mr. Steffens, nothing. I'm sitting with my daughter. Give a fuck about these kids. When we get back on the train, chaperone in full effect. But right now, I'm here to share this experience with my daughter. Fuck, I look like sitting next to Raheem and Ty and Malik, and my daughter Mia is like 5 rows up, looking at me like, why is my father not with me? Why is my father with for lack of a better term, Tyler? Or as someone affectionately calls him, Taylor. What I look like? Nah. So I used to always tell people. I used to tell my brother, I'm like, look, these teachers get it twisted. Yeah, I'm helpful. Yeah, I'll help. I'll come up there and chaperone, or I'll come up there and visit and everything. But at the end of the day, guess who's my number one priority? Me and mine. I don't give a fuck about anybody else. I'm there to make sure that my child gets the best experience possible in the discussion, especially when, like, watching people kids. All right, yeah, we can watch them, but when they get to a certain point, look, I can't stand a hard headed child. So once I gotta repeat myself more than 2 times, and even 2 times is much too much, guess what? Babe, you handle that. I'm going to the room. Don't got time for this shit. Guess what? Give a fuck. He my child. I didn't listen. Same thing in the subway. One of the famous things, and you don't see him but so often. And this was actually a conversation I had at work, that there's not a lot of teen mothers, teen parents nowadays. I don't know if it's the fact of um, people are getting more responsible. Like, you know what? Maybe I shouldn't have a child in this environment, or maybe I should make sure I'm taken care of, or maybe I should make sure that I'm in a place to take care of, or maybe some of these teenagers are just selfish. Like, look, I don't got time. I don't got time to be dealing with no little bastard. I gotta get these kicks. I got I gotta do me regardless. But there was a time that you have these young mothers in the subway system, right? And especially when the train deboards and everybody's going to the exits, and now they got this big extravagant ass stroller. Probably spent like $1,000 on the stroller, but they can't lift that shit. And they be sitting there. They don't even ask, because it's like their pride is too much for them to ask. They're like, "Fuck, I look like asking for help. You should see this stroller. You should see me. And you should put two and two together." But guess what? I put two and two together and realized, guess what? That ain't my fucking child. Handle your business. Because I know when my kids were little and I would get on the bus and I would have one in the holder. Yeah, yeah, with the straps, the carrier. I would have one in the carrier, and then I have one in the stroller, or one walking. And when I get on that bus, there always used to be a sign that said, please, you know, give this, if there's no seats available, please give up the seat to the disabled or the elderly, or in my case, a parent. They would look at me like, nigga, I wish I would get up and get you the seat. I remember all that. So, yeah, New Year. Now, look, I've been told you I don't believe in that New Year, new me shit. My fucking year reset last December 10th. So yeah, I'm about a month ahead of y'all motherfuckers. But they'd be on there and they'd be just standing there, and I would look at them like, I didn't make that baby. Maybe if you didn't have the physical strength to carry up that child, carry up that extravagant expense of that stroller, guess what? Maybe you should have thought twice about opening up to your legs to this no good motherfucker that's not around with you after you had to take your kids to the doctor's appointment. Ha! How about that? Ungrateful. So I say all those little tangents to let y'all know how my mentality is when it comes to me and mine. I don't want nobody. I don't want no person making my my son, my daughter, my grandchild, my niece, my nephews. I don't want net my godchildren. I want no person ever trying to make them feel uncomfortable. And I really wish sometimes I could shrink myself back into a pre-adolescent with the knowledge that I've gained now to let these little motherfuckers know that one is not the one to fuck with. So I'm hearing all this banter back and forth, and I could tell my grandson is getting a little emotional, getting into feelings. I'm like, Mimi, what happened? Nothing. Who's that? Nobody. And I hear the chat in the background, like, who you playing with? Nobody. Playing by myself. I'm like, all right. So I'm telling Mikey, I'm like, yo, man, if that was me, you know what type of comebacks I would get. They're like, I know. They're like, man, Jameer, I know you're not getting upset. And I was like, no, I'm not getting upset. You want to know why I'm not getting upset? Because guess what? When I open my refrigerator, I see food. When you open up your refrigerator, all you see is a box of baking soda. You broke motherfucker. Guess what? For Christmas, I had both my parents. Was your mother kissing your father, or was your mother kissing some random ass Santa Claus? Listen, I don't play fair, especially when it comes to this Roblox shit. I'll be like, look, you talking about you got more Robux than me. No, no, I mean I got no, you talking all that stuff. Guess what? I got more Robux than you. You know what you got? You got SNAP benefits. Listen, I swear, there's so many things that I wanted to say to you little ungrateful bastards online. But I chose not to. If they heard me in the background, that was their choice because they shouldn't have been fucking with my grandson. They don't understand. And maybe he might not even understand quite yet. But Pop Pop don't play that shit at all. See, Gigi actually doesn't play more than Pop Pop. Because Gigi would be quick to go up to the daycare like, who the fuck is messing with my grandson? Is there a problem? Uh wow. Listen, she does that to me now. She'll be threatening to go into my job. Case in point. Yeah, like I said, I'm all over the place this week. But guess what? I told y'all, I'm putting salty. I'm gonna add some extra salt to this week. And tell you the truth, I'm gonna take this off the banner because I ain't talking about Roblox no more. At my place of business, right? Now, as recent viewers know, or maybe I don't know, or maybe I just didn't give a fuck. I'm recovering from COVID. I got the Christmas cold. Had the Christmas cold, right? So I got two co-workers I work with pretty much every day. I got the person in the morning who I relieve, and I got the person at night who relieves me. Now, and I have another which called co-worker that comes through that I see 5 days a week, right? So once I realized that, oh shit, I'm infected, I did the responsible thing. I picked up my trusty ass phone. I dialed these numbers, some text, some call, but I notified everybody I was in close contact with, let y'all know, look, your boy got caught. I'm it. Because I got it. So I'm giving you this. I'm letting y'all know I'm not gonna be here, but more importantly, I'm letting y'all know that maybe y'all should go and, just get yourself checked. Make sure everything is all right with you and yours, right? So I do that. I come back. One of the people, the person that comes in after me, he comes in. He got like 3 masks on, gloves, and I'm like, wow, like that's a little extreme, but okay, I get it. Listen, the infectious one is back. I get it. I don't feel no way about it until I talk to our mutual coworker, and I'm like, let me ask you a question. I was gone for 9 days. Did he wear any type of protection for 9 days? The 9 days I was gone? He sure didn't. I'm like, so what? I'm patient zero now. Got you. But it gets worse. So a week later, this same mother effer calls me, and he's like, Michael, this is such and such. I'm just going to let you know. I don't know. I might call in sick tonight. I'm like, wow, what happened? I don't know. I don't feel well. I woke up. I this morning. When I got home. I you know I had a fever, and I was feeling weak, but I took an Advil and I'm fine. Huh? You have a fever. You had a fever, and you felt weak, but you took an Advil and you found. Of course you're gonna feel fine because you took a fucking Advil. So I'm like, well, maybe okay. I was like, yeah, look, do what you got to do, get yourself checked, go to the doctor. It doesn't even need to have the C word, but it could which word it could be. It could be the flu. It could be a cold. It could be a throat infection. It could be all types of stuff, right? So he's like, yeah. He's like, my throats. My throats is kind of sore. But I gargled with salt and water, and I'm fine. And as my brother Smitty from the group home in Bergen Beach said, "Oh yeah, he must have had that ancient elixir that cures all ills, aka salt and water." But he didn't come into work that day. I'm like, great, maybe he realized, you know what? Better safe than sorry. Let me not come in today. Doesn't come in that day. The next day, he texts me, Michael, I feel better, but I just let you know I'm not coming in tomorrow. I mean today. I'm like, all right, good. Glad you're feeling better. Take your time. Best thing to do is it's all about the health. It's all about your health. Takes 2 days off. This happened to be Friday and Saturday. Sunday, I find out that his selfish ass is back to work. This time he's masked up. When I say 99.5% of 2023, this mother effer is maskless. Now all of a sudden, for 7 consecutive days, he's wearing the mask. You ain't fooling me. I know what that is. Your ass don't feel well. Your ass probably had the symptoms of, well, because I think when I say that word too many times, I think it affects my views. So the C, as somebody would call it, the cocoa, and not the cocoa that goes up your nose. So you rather, because you didn't want to use no sick days, you rather come to work, not even with an N95, not even with with these, regardless, you rather come to work and put your people in jeopardy because you wanted your bread. But yet, the day I came back, you went with 3. Like I said, like I was a toxic Avenger or something. See how people are? See how people are? This society could care less about each other. And I say all this, and today is Martin Luther King's birthday. The great MLK. I had a dream. And I don't say that jokingly. The more we're supposed to be together as much as he wanted Jews and Gentiles to all be as one as a human race, the more we become divided due to political leanings, due to uh, medical beliefs, and so forth. Like I said, I'm not gonna get too much. I'm not gonna get into it this week. Maybe, matter of fact, maybe that'll be on tap for next week. But I say all that to say, our caring for our fellow man, our fellow human, is decreasing by the day. It's decreasing by the minute. It's decreasing by the second. And for someone to put your health in jeopardy based on the almighty buck, have no respect for that. Unfortunately, hands are tied. Ain't really much I can do. It's not like I could pick up the phone and drop dime. Not like I would want to. But it's not like there's some place I can kind of like, yo, having a back and forth with him, shoot, doesn't really matter. Because guess what? If it did matter, he just proved to me that he could care less because he came the way he came. But that all goes back to how I say about me and mine. It's kind of ironic, isn't it? That when it comes to me and mine, I put mine above anybody else. But in the same respect, right is right, wrong is wrong. When I potentially might have passed something on, I let those know immediately. And I took precautions to take care of me and mine, me and my family. This mother effer potentially put me and my family in jeopardy. Michael, I feel good. How are you doing? Did I miss anything? Is there anything going on? And you think I'm gonna have a 5-10 minute conversation with you? No, you come in, I say what everything work related, I'm out that door. Not, no love loss, because I've been known how Mr. Man rolls. But yeah. Um, last but not least, Squid Games, the challenge. The challenge. This show on Netflix, not the original show, but this game show patterned after the original show, which I'm not gonna lie, I didn't watch. So everything in this is new. Like my son and my daughter, they're watching it because they saw the original and they could kind of pretty much put the the dots together. Like, all right, this is what's going. Oh, they're recreating this. Oh, da 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 da. Oh, is there somebody that's? I'm 22 minutes away from finishing. And tell you the truth, I probably should wait until I'm 22 minutes away for this segment. But I will say this. As a matter of fact, let's put this let's put it this way. It's going to be it's going to be a to be continued when it comes to this segment, because I really don't want to talk about the segment until I actually know how it finishes. But these two people right here, 278, the Black Queen over there, Ashley, and 287, the diabolical Mai, immigration interrogator extraordinaire. Huh. Interesting. These two, and I'm going to try to say this as much as I can. I'm going to try to talk as much as I can before I leave it in a cliffhanger for next week. Because please remind me to continue the Squid Game, the challenge segment. These two had an interesting uh dichotomy between them. There was this one game where you're supposed to walk like on a glass bridge, right? Like I was saying, these two, there was this game where there was like a glass bridge, and based on the number that they chose prior to the actual game was the order in which they were supposed to go to this bridge. Now, for the most part, it's the glass are in pairs. So let's say you had 18 or 20 pairs. Matter of fact, 18 or 20 pairs. Yeah. So one is going to make you fall and eliminate yourself, and the other one is going to allow you to move on to the next step. Now, I want to say out of the 20 remaining players, 19 of them agreed that they were going to take turns, as in, all right, I'm gonna take one, and then the person behind me, they're gonna come in front of me, they're gonna take one. So therefore, everybody be quote unquote in the interest of fairness. 278, the Black Queen, Ashley was like, fuck out of here. I didn't agree to that. There's $4.5 million at stake. And I'm supposed to just go along with y'all because y'all came up with this cockamamie scheme? Fuck. If for all that, y'all handle that shit. I'm doing it my way. 287, the diabolical mind, she felt the way. Even though she actually had number 20, meaning she didn't have no risk in it because she was going to be the last one to move, and the pattern will already be established. She would know exactly where to move, and she would know which ones there was no panel. She felt the way. She said, oh, Ashley 278 showed her selfish ways, and I'm going to eliminate her. Or as soon as I get the opportunity, I'm going to eliminate her. This picture that I'm showing was her attempt to butter 278 up, like lower her guard. 278 was like, look, I ain't new to this. I'm true to this. I know what her scheme is, and guess what? If I got the opportunity, I'm going to eliminate her ass too. But guess what? I'm going to be upfront about it. I'm going to let her know. Needless to say, it got down to episode 9 out of these 10 episodes, the circle of trust. And there was a face-off. And that face-off ultimately decided who was going to be in the final 3. And like I said, being the fact that I'm 22 minutes away from finishing this, and I know, I keep on saying 22 minutes. And y'all probably like, well, motherfucker, why don't you just watch the 22 minutes, pause this, watch the 22 minutes, and get back to us? There's a big reason why. Because similar to Squid Games, me, my son, and my daughter had a pact of our own. This came out prior to Thanksgiving. My son came home for Thanksgiving, and we start watching it. We got up to, let's say, episode 5. Before the break was over, we was like, you know what? We all did come to a decision that we were going to wait until we return for Christmas break for us to continue watching the Squid Games, which we did, much to my chagrin, but I held off, out of sight, out of mind. My daughter held off, out of sight, out of mind. My son held off, out of sight, out of mind. Other day, yo, Papa, you want to finish watching Squid Games? I said, sure. Mia came home. Matter of fact, I think they came. You want to continue watching Squid Games? Yeah. All right, fine. So we at episode 6. Now, was it our fault that the lovely Tamia came home a little exhausted and couldn't stay up? No, but she quickly tapped out after episode 6. She assumed that me and Mikey were going to tap out with her. Oh, no, 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 no. We must move forward. So we watched episode 7 and episode 8 before I'm like, you know what? Yeah, let's put an end to it for tonight. Last night, after the playoff games, my son's like, you wanna finish watching Squid Games? Sure, why not? So we're watching episode 9, watching episode 10. About halfway through episode 10, all of a sudden the door opens, and guess who came through the door? I came through the door. I said it before. Never want to watch Squid Games with me no more. The lovely Mia. And she gasped in horror. Y'all are watching Squid Games without me? No, not really. Yeah, y'all up to episode 10? Yeah. stopped at episode 6. Okay, you tapped out. But y'all couldn't. So we asked her, look, 22 minutes before the end of the season, was like, look, you want us to stop? Matter of fact, we'll be open to watching 7 and 8 with you over again and get up to this position, which we have. I foregone watching the last 22 minutes. Hey, Mikey, you didn't watch the last 22 minutes, right? Nope, he didn't watch it either. So we're stuck on 22 minutes before the conclusion of Squid Game's The Challenge, and we're patiently waiting for the lovely Mia to come home so we could finish watching this as a family, as a unit. But when I say she was a little upset, and I'm going to say this on air, and hopefully you agree with me, Mikey. Was it our fault that she chose not to come straight home last night? Nope, not at all. She didn't want to come straight home last night. She wanted to stay to work for some. She wanted to stay. She wanted to stay at work a little extra longer. That wasn't our fault. But we are both men of principle. We are both men of honor. Dare I say, the bloodline is strong. And yeah, we're patiently waiting. Patiently waiting for this last 22 seconds. With 22 minutes. Second just sounded better. So that's going to be the cliffhanger for next week. I will actually, even though my son won't be here in the physical, but he will be here in essence, in the aura, because he has to go back. He has to go back north next week. Well, end of this week, which not happy about, but everybody wish my son a happy 26th birthday. Yeah. Happy birthday! Happy birthday! Happy birthday! Yeah, he's somewhat shy, but I really do want everybody to see his nice nice sharp cut, because he got a hairline that I can only dream of right now. But I am 22 years older than him, so I guess technically he's the younger version of me. But anyway, with all that being said, that brings us to the end of another edition of the Salty Thoughts of Mike Steph podcast. I'd like to thank each and every one of y'all for making me and this here podcast the one y'all choose to listen to. Y'all don't have any idea how close y'all were to not getting an episode this week. Like right now, I'm at the 10 o'clock hour of Monday Night Raw, and right now we have Becky Lynch, the man, confronting Rhea Bloody Ripley in the middle of the ring. So you know what that means, right? That means I really need to make this outro very short so I can continue watching my Monday Night Raw. Next week, like I said, I don't know what I'm going to talk about. I might talk about this. I might talk about that. I might talk about basketball. I might talk about wrestling. I might just talk about whatever comes to my mind, because why not? What I do want y'all to do is check out Hidden Gems Football this Thursday, hosted by the Mojo King and myself, Mike Steph. New episodes drop each and every Thursday on the YouTube channel of the 19 Media Group. Check out this week's episode. I'm quite sure it'll be a doozy for the return of the Mojo King straight from vacation. And trust and believe, I will be peppering him with questions that he will probably successfully dodge on what exactly happened on his vacation. Did any type of debauchery happen on his vacation? And is there anything else he might want to divulge about what happened on his lovely vacation? But only one way to find out, and that's to check in. Check out the Salty Thoughts of Mike Steph podcast, available on multiple platforms. Should I say the following platforms? Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Amazon Music. New episodes drop each and every Wednesday. Yeah. New year, new me for that. Yeah, I'm going to drop new episodes each and every Wednesday. Check me out on X, formerly known as Twitter, at Mike Stephen _. Check me out on the gram at Mike _Steph. And check me out on TikTok at Mike Steph _. Yeah. One other thing before I get out of here. Check out the good brothers at Gimmick Infringement, also located on the YouTube channel of the 19 Media Group, because these brothers have been grinding. Grinding. No matter suit is shining. Grinding. You know how my it's running. Grinding. No, they've been grinding. Like when they've been putting out a prolific amount of episodes, they've been putting out these episodes like to the point that I need to catch up, which is crazy. Because usually 2:00 on the dot, late Sunday night, early Monday morning, I'm usually numero uno. But they've been, so actually gave me some a little bit more inspiration to try to up my output. I don't know how inspired I'm going to be to up my output, but who knows? Doesn't really matter, at least to me. But it matters to me that you check out Gimmick Infringement, Winchester, and McDowell on the 19 Media Group YouTube channel. So with all that being said and done, I'm going to get up out of here. We wish y'all a great rest of the week. Not only from me, Mike Steph, but from Mrs. Oo / Mrs. Steph, from Chef Mix, who is somewhere in the background, probably waiting for me to finish so he can get back into his trusty spot, from my lovely daughter Mia, and my daughter Main Event K, who's getting herself ready for return to school tomorrow morning. So, oh yeah, I can't forget my trusty Stitch. Yeah, because he's going to be a mainstay right nowadays, as long as I remember. Look. Oh, look at that. Look at that. Oh, he's so cute, isn't he? He's so cute. Yeah. Oh, shit. Let me get out of here. So, oh, yeah. Love you, sis. Love all my sisters and brothers out there. I love you. I love you. I love you. And I love you. Goodbye. Who's that? Fighting champion. Self freaking Rollins. Oh shit. See, I got listen. Go figure. I do hitting gen football. I do everything. It goes 1, 2, 3, and then I go back to mine and I forget that I gotta press this recording button twice. So yeah.